Hi everyone. So I was tagged in the 17 random questions tag by Veggie Beauty. I'll also be tagging some people and I'll put all your names in the bottom bar. I'm definitely going to be trying to dig up people who haven't been tagged yet for the 17 random questions tag. So the very first question is, how did you get your YouTube username? And I feel I've answered this question before. I think it's almost like the same. I feel like I've done this tag before, but it's just kind of rephrased. So if I'm repeating any questions that have already been asked and you remember that I am, just bear with me. I believe that there are some new questions in here. So the very first question, how did you get your YouTube username? And well, I did create it myself. I originally was going to upload videos under the name Fashionably Painted. I wanted to combine who I am, where I've been, and what I have a degree in or a license for. So I originally was going to upload them under Fashionably Painted, and something told me not to. And so I created another word that sort of, you know, added those two worlds together. Since I really don't plan going back into working for fashion, I really want to be in cosmetics. I feel like I'm more hands-on, less technical, more creative. I feel I work better in customer service than behind a keyboard, and I feel like the fashion design world is definitely more behind a keyboard. So I didn't want to put the word fashionable first, making people think that I was a fashion channel, even though I believe makeup can definitely parlay into fashion. And you wear it like fashion. I still wanted to be cosmetic first. So I created the name Cosmeticcouturier. Couturier is a term in the fashion world for those of anyone who have difficulty pronouncing that word or wondering what it is. Couturier just means that, you know, that you're an artist of fashion. You're always creating. So yeah, that's how I combine the two together. But my advice, if you are creating a YouTube username, go with something that's easy to pronounce, because I believe my YouTube username is very commonly mispronounced or misspelled. People have a hard time with it, which is why my Facebook and my vlog channel, they both say CC. CC is just an abbreviation for Cosmetic Couturier. And then I know on Twitter I'm Designer Grace, and then I had to eventually sort of kind of add in parentheses Cosmetic Couturier, so you guys know like who I am, where I'm coming from, who's talking, or whatever on Facebook, because I'm kind of talking back and forth, you know, in the makeup world. But Designer Grace was originally just sort of the email or the username or address I had come up with back when I was working in fashion. If you could change your name to anything, what would it be and why? I was asked this before, if you would change your name, what would it be and why? And I had worked in a restaurant where there was like 4 or 5 Graces. One of us had to change their name. What was the funny part was that I was the only person who was actually legitimately named Grace. Everyone else had like, you know, was using it, or it wasn't really their name, or had chopped part of it. And so funnily enough though, they asked me if I could change my name. When I kind of thought about being called something else, I had kind of a hard time with it, even though I never really sat down and said, gee, I love my name. Like, you know, there's a lot more names out there that I had always thought that I would love to have growing up, but I hate the idea of being called anything else now that I've been called Grace all my life. So they used to call me Gracie Lou as a joke, so I guess that's what my name would be. Number 3, if you could go back in time and give yourself advice, what would it be and why? That's a really weird question, because I feel that things happen for a reason. I don't know that I could go back in time and ask myself not to get a design degree, even though I don't want to be in that field, because it is still my degree and it still kind of parlays into cosmetics. I feel like I know more about art and cosmetics for that degree, and I feel like it was a good experience. I feel like it made me more street smart to be in downtown LA going to college and having to think for myself, take the train to school, deal with homeless people on the train and stuff like that. It's really hard to say that I would go back in time and just immediately go to cosmetology school, fresh out of school. So if it comes down to any just silly, stupid mistakes I've made, I suppose I could go back in time and tell myself not to make them. but then it's really hard because you wouldn't be the person you are today. How old were you when you first learned how to blow a bubblegum bubble? I probably was more older than, I definitely was not like a kid. I definitely didn't like really snap my fingers or blow bubbles as a small child. I think I learned that maybe too late, maybe 10 or so. What did you want to be when you were little? I wanted to be a fashion designer my whole life. My whole life wanted to be a fashion designer. It wasn't until I got almost done with FITM that I kind of was questioning what else I would like to be. So definitely fashion designer. What do you order at Starbucks? I don't really go to Starbucks. I know coffee can be more beneficial for you than tea because it's a fruit, but I feel that tea has a lot of antioxidants too, and I really love blue oolong tea. I'm just not a coffee drinker anymore, and plus it smells like I can smell a coffee drinker. I know that's probably because I don't drink coffee, but I hate the scent, the staleness of coffee. So I'd probably say that if I order anything at Starbucks, it would probably be a black tea with maybe some lemonade as a sweetener. What's the hardest you've ever laughed? Oh, I've definitely had those moments where you're literally on the floor and you can't breathe. I can't pick out an instance, but definitely had those moments. If you could play a musical instrument, what would it be and why? And I'm gonna go with piano, just because I think it seems to be the instrument that I would have the most difficulty mastering, memorizing all the keys. So I'm gonna go with that. Even though I love the sound of a guitar, I feel piano is still very beautiful and I would love to know how to play it. What's your favorite thing to do when you're upset? I guess start kind of digging around for ideas of makeup ideas I can do. Maybe even just sort of post like what I'm thinking on Facebook when it comes to makeup ideas. Sort of get my creative juices flowing. Get outside of myself. Not talk about it because then you're just kind of dwelling on it. I love to sort of just get outside of myself and get artistic. That's one thing that I always loved about myself as a fashion designer when I was designing was it was just something I could always do, and no matter what. Whether I was super happy, I was creative. Whether I was a little down, I was very creative, and it was just always sort of my go-to was creativity. What's your favorite movie? Memoirs of a Geisha. I feel that it more than mirrors my generation, especially myself, even today, because of what they had to deal with during World War II and Japan. I know that what we're dealing with here in the United States is nowhere near as daunting as what she dealt with in that movie. However, I feel like her life's dreams and ambitions and goals were almost sort of put to a hold during that sort of depression. She finally achieved being a geisha, and her friend was this close after wanting it their whole life, and then it was just very hard to get after economic decline. So I feel that video is very relatable and still like very beautiful, interesting movie. And cinematic wise it's beautiful, and it's just a beautiful story. Almost broke my heart when I found out that that a geisha didn't really write it, but aside from that, it kind of got me really into, I guess, researching old Japan and geishas. I feel it's a very interesting culture. What's one food you cannot live without? If we're going for like a food, it doesn't really say meal, but I'm gonna go with avocado, just because they're really good for you. They have tons of vitamins, B12, omega-3 fatty acid. I love them as guacamole. I love to slice fresh avocados over sandwiches, over like a black bean, kind of like a Mexican style soup. I love it in dip. I think you can pretty much put it in anything. It's a great essential basic for a vegetarian or a vegan to have. So I'm gonna go with avocado. what's your favorite dessert? And I'm going to go with raw vegan raspberry cheesecake. I recently have gotten a couple of those. They are kind of a treat. They're not super expensive. They're like $6 for a raw vegan cheesecake. And the fact that they are raw vegan, a lot of times they're soy-free and gluten-free. They're a little less, I guess they're not bad for you, and they taste just as sinfully delicious. So I'm gonna go with that. Number 13, what's your favorite pizza topping? My favorite pizza topping has always been pineapple. I definitely want to make a vegan Hawaiian pineapple pizza soon. I don't think I want to do it though with soy ham or faux cheese. I want to do it with like a roasted veggie tomato sauce on a wheat crust, like a gluten-free wheat crust, and I'll post that on Miss CC Vlogs. Definitely want to do that. Number 14, would you rather have the superpower to read minds or the superpower to be invisible? I think I'd rather have the superpower to read minds, kind of anticipate things and figure out how people are, what they think, where they're coming from. I don't see that the invisible thing would really be beneficial to me. I don't think I need it. Number 15, what did you do for your last birthday? I went to a winery and got edumacated. I don't know, I guess I'm a little corny that way. Because I do work as a bartender, I definitely like to keep up to par on different things. It's also just like a fun thing, and it's also really beautiful, especially in California, to get out and see those things in real life. So that was what I did for my last birthday. And number 16, if you had one personal selfish wish, what would it be and why? I think my selfish wish would be to, I guess one day maybe have my sort of like my own makeup class, or like I've said before, sort of my own makeup like books. I would just definitely eat that up. I'd love that. And I would want to make them reasonably like affordable. I wouldn't want to have like a $700 class where I tell people about it last minute. I absolutely can't stand that. But I would definitely love to have maybe some kind of makeup class taught, maybe like at a regular college. People could pay like regular units or get, you know, be obtainable, you know? Number 17, what does OMGHHKP mean to you? I've never heard that before. Maybe I'm a little old compared to some of the beauty community on YouTube. I've never heard that before, so I don't know what it is. So I'm gonna tag some people in the bottom bar, and thanks for watching.